welcome back to a very special edition of the No Bull Broker podcast. I'm Nathan Klutznick, your host, with my co-host, Jonathan Lickstein, sitting in the back. Today we have a very special guest. Manny Fajardo is the president of Premier Lending Corp, and we are taking a ride around town today in his 2024 Hummer EV. Manny, welcome to the No Bull Broker podcast, and thank you very much for ripping us around in this EV.
Thanks for having me.
So how long have you had this car?
It's new, about 3 months. First EV, so getting used to it.
And you're loving it?
Loving it. I don't think I can go back.
Hold on, we got a low battery. And no, just kidding.
Welcome to the EV family, Manny.
Yeah, good to be a part of it, man.
I'm still part of the resistance, but I think after a test drive in this, maybe I'll reconsider. This thing is sweet.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah. So tell me, Manny, how long have you been the president of Premier Lending Corp?
It's been actually about 2 weeks from now will be our 11-year anniversary. So started the company, way back when with my partner, which I've known for about 15 years. We worked together at different entities, and 11 years ago we formed this company, knowing we could do it, better, faster, cheaper for the consumer. So this is where we're at now.
Awesome. And you're managing quite the team. You're up to what, 22 LOs, I think?
Yeah,
you said?
22. We got another 3 that we're onboarding in the next 60 days. So we've always tried to have some slow, controlled growth and not just hire everybody. They got to fit the mold, and we feel like we have a really good team at this point.
Very cool. As we all know, sitting in this car, managing a team of over 20 people can be quite the challenge between personalities, just operations and everything. What are a couple things you do to keep your mind right heading into the office in the morning? Do you have a routine?
In the mortgage industry, there's no days the same. But we're pretty strategic with our approach on a daily and weekly basis. So whether it's strategy meetings, sales meetings, it's more meeting with our management team and making sure that from the bottom to the bottom, everything's flowing well. So, we usually, I roll in. I would say we probably start working at about 6:30 in the morning, but I got 2 little guys here, so I don't get to the office till about 9 after I drop them off from school. And then we head in, we start the day with a sales huddle right there in the morning, get with our management, see what the day's kind of panning out to be, and then we just tackle it from there.
Awesome. What about personal routine? You mentioned you have 2 young boys.
Yeah.
I know that you like to coach. You have 3 business people in this car and 3 coaches. So
yes.
What season are you in right now? You in baseball?
Baseball. Actually, Saturday, my little guy, the 6U T-ball, will be in the championship.
Oh, sweet.
So, we do quite a bit of baseball. My wife played softball for South Carolina.
Oh, wow.
So she's really the jock in the family.
What position did you play?
She was at third base.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she did really, really well, 4-year starter. So she handles one team. She's actually a coach.
That's a D1 team,
in the
right?
boys. Yeah, D1, SEC.
That's a big, yeah.
So she manages one team. She coaches my older boy because he's in coach pitch, and I'm on the little side, on the little guy side with, it's been a fun experience because it's all my friends are the coaches, all their kids, so it's really a family type of atmosphere, and it's good teaching the little guys here.
Is she for hire? I need some coaching help for this spring softball season for my 2 girls.
She did coach for a long time, actually, and honestly, she kind of didn't want to do it because I've been coaching my kids all throughout, and now that my kids are in 2 different leagues, we had to kind of divide and conquer. And I don't think she would not coach at this point. She's loved it,
It's such a great way to connect with your kids and be involved. It's a lot of fun. And
absolutely.
For us, I'm sure you're the same type. We're pretty competitive. And
not to mention the relationships you create along the way. There's definitely lessons learned through coaching that have applied on the business side of things.
Like what?
100%. I could tell
how not to lose your cool.
How to handle adversity.
But I think the same type of morals, you instill in your kids, you kind of do with your staff as well, right? So, discipline, being on time, doing the little things, and I think Saban and Kirby Smart say, you can't do the big things unless you know how to do the little things great. So, we do that with our guys, and, it's our first year in this league. We have all 5-year-olds in a 6-year-old league, and we're crushing it. So that we take that same type of approach with the company is learning how to do the little things, mastering what you can, control what you can, and as long as you work hard, I think everything kind of works out.
Yeah, you make great points. So when you're, one thing I found is whether I'm, walking into a typical business environment or dealing with an overly stressful environment, whether we like it or not, as the leaders of our companies, there's times where we just face immense challenges. And one of the things I've noticed about my kids, whether I'm coaching or giving them a ride to school, I forget about all that stuff, or at least I really try to, but it's been really therapeutic for me. Do you soak that in the morning when you're taking them to school and enjoy that time?
Absolutely. I'm very conscious of the fact that this time is going to be gone and I'm going to miss it one day. And, you enjoy every stage in life, even with kids, with work. I think everything has a learning experience tied to it. So I'm really enjoying every single day. Not to be cliche about it, but, kids are small. I'm still young-ish. So really trying to take advantage of this time.
I mean, at your kid's age now, going into 6U, I always have a saying that when you have a baby, the minutes and hours can feel so long, but the years just disappear. Insane. And so by 6, you're like, where did the last 5 years go?
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, seeing them grow up, seeing the company grow up, like you said, I feel like it's obviously been 11 years of the company and, almost 7 years of my oldest, and he turns 7 in November 22nd. And my little guy too, just like you said, the years, it's like a flash that's gone by,
Yeah. So, what's motivating you in the last couple of years? Obviously, the real estate industry has been going through a market shift. And Jonathan, of course, chime in if you want to. But what's we're riding around in this badass 2024 Hummer. We all, us guys, we all like our toys, right?
Yeah.
But what are your key motivating factors right now in this business environment?
I think that the market shift definitely caused some fear in what's going to happen in the future. We really used that time to prepare because we knew it was, it's a cyclical business. So, I think trying
location sign. Sorry, had to point it out.
Motivating factor is, I want to really provide a place, that has a good culture, some place that people like coming to work. They like the atmosphere. They like the tools. We give them everything we can to be successful. And, again, I know this is going to sound cliche, but if they're in a good, happy environment, that trickles upward as well. Just like it trickles downward, it trickles upward. So, seeing some of my LOs have their best years during the last 2 years was extremely motivating because they really just went back to the basics. The things they got away from, the pandemic caused all this digital stuff. And, I think them realizing and us coaching them up to really get back to the basics, and then seeing the rewards that they've, earned and the income they've made, the sky's the limit for when the market turns. These guys are going to be on fire. So
would you attribute the majority of your organization's success to you and your co-founder and the leadership and the coaching and your attention to your staff, or is it tools, technology, or a combination of everything?
I think it's a combination of everything. It's definitely a team effort. I certainly can't take credit. My partner Johanny, my director of sales Juan, we've been really involved, and we're not producing managers of the company, so to speak. So our whole niche and what we provide to the loan officers is really from a support perspective. So
you're not competing with them. Yeah, Johanny, when I had a chance to meet him, I thought he was such a nice guy, so personable. So it's clear that your team has great leadership.
Now, when it comes to real estate, we often get distracted with the shiny item, right? There's new technology that comes out, new mentalities on how to structure maybe a lease to purchase or something along those lines. And it's similar in the mortgage side. You guys have, in this market trend that we've seen, rate buy downs and credits for rent buy downs and compensation flying from all different sides and how it fits into the mortgage. What has been a shiny object and what's been really valuable to navigate the current market conditions that have kind of driven you forward?
I think Fannie and Freddie did a pretty good job of understanding the rate environment and trying to create new opportunities. Like that buy down program, I think was huge. We leveraged that like crazy. Now it's become an everyday routine for an LO when they see seller concessions. We don't just assume it's being applied towards closing costs, right? That's when you have the mortgage discussion. Like, what's better for you? Is it better for you to have less out-of-pocket cost, or is it better for you to have a cheaper payment? Because now you have the option. So I think the market reacted really well in that sense from a guideline perspective. And it's really hard because we don't control the rates. We try to stay purchase driven as a company. Those that went refi heavy, market went up, they're out of business. So, I think it's just trying to navigate and do the best with what you have. And, I thought the market from the guideline and lender perspective, it really, it improved. The bad apples kind of got out. Everybody that's here that weathered the storm, I think is really a major player now.
With all the market changes and regulatory changes, how do you guys stay on top of that? Do you look towards your, different news sources? Do you look towards trade organizations? How do you guys stay at the forefront of all these changes?
Yeah, that's great. So we are part of a few different trade associations. We are well versed in what's happening with the market. We get a lot of insight from our lenders as well. UWM is a huge partner of ours. We're a top account for them, so we definitely leverage what they have. Right? They're going to hear market data. And
what does UWM stand for again?
United Wholesale Mortgage.
Gotcha.
So they're just one of several investors. We're a true brokerage, meaning I'm not a direct lender, and we use that structure strategically because I want to have some optionality.
Lexus is going way too slow for us here in the summer.
Yeah,
way too slow.
It is. You can't go 15 miles an hour on this road. You'll get crushed.
So with that being said, talking about the benefits of being a broker, I mean, commonly consumers will go to their local bank to get financing on their home or their car. Why should someone work with a mortgage broker as opposed to a bank or a large lender that you would know across the country?
I'll tell you very simply, it's cheaper, faster, easier. And there's more optionality. So, you walk into a B of A, a Wells, you go to Rocket, that's one option. They're not necessarily fighting to get you the best rate.
They're stuck within their specific guidelines. Nothing is more frustrating than walking into one of those banks and applying for a loan, and they are just checking boxes on a computer screen. There's no personalization, and it can be a very frustrating process.
I mean, we try to do a combination of having a human element to it, but also utilizing the tech aspect of it, right? So,
you ever been to Dandy Donuts? Sorry to interrupt you. It's dangerous. Just be thankful there's not one of those 3 blocks from your office.
Yeah, well, I might have to stop there on the way out. But yeah, no, I think leveraging the technology and having the optionality that we have, I think the broker space, didn't just make up ground the last 10, 15 years. I think we really overtook that retail banking space, from every, not just a loan perspective, but UWM has run a study and HUM data shows that the average consumer would save $9,300 over the course of their mortgage by using a brokerage. And the simple fact is I have 20, 30 lenders that are fighting for your business, which is why my interest rate, again, I'm not saying we're the best, and I'm sure there's entities out there that can beat us on any given day. Just like Alabama can lose to Vanderbilt, right? That happens, but we're winning most battles, and we're offering the consumer, I think, the best opportunity to really be in the mortgage they should be in, instead of having to continue to refinance out of it.
One of the things I don't hear consumers or agents talk enough about when it comes to mortgage brokers is the level of service they provide. And everyone shops rate, that's fine, but it's been my experience in the past that having a really good mortgage broker that is willing to work with the different scenarios, because listen, you're buying a house today, you may be going and looking for an investment property tomorrow, and you want to have that relationship and the level of service to get you into that next investment property. And I think that people are so short-sighted when it comes to rates. Now, don't get me wrong, you want a good rate, and it has a direct impact on your monthly payment and bottom line, but looking back, so many of the investment properties I bought were a result of a relationship that I developed with a mortgage broker because of his level of service was so good. And forgetting about the rate, it got me into properties that I probably wouldn't ordinarily be able to purchase if I walked into a standard banking institution. So if you're ever interested in real estate investing, I always tell people, establish a relationship with a very good mortgage broker, and don't focus on the rate as much. Focus on their level of service and the products that they're able to get you in. Because would you rather pay a little bit of a higher interest rate on a property that may have a roof issue or whatever it may be, or undervalued that another lender may not be able to get you in otherwise? I mean, you're leaving so much equity or money on the table when it comes to real estate investing. So having a broker with a strong relationship to me is so valuable.
So Manny, I'm going to go into the most common question that I'm sure everyone asks you. With a real estate agent, everyone asks, so how's the market? So for you, I'm sure you're getting, what are the interest rates? What's happening? When are they going down? What do you foresee happening in our marketplace?
I mean, I really only see an improvement. We saw the Fed cut in September 50 basis points. We knew that they were going to cut and it would increase, and that's exactly what happened, right? So now the bond got to 3.6 in September. It's 4.3 as of yesterday, I think. So quite a over 60 basis points it probably went up, right, in just a month's time. But I think with the election coming, with just inflation where it is, and the Fed trying to really get that under control, I think it's going to be incremental decreases throughout the next 18 to 24 months. I certainly think that, and like we are now, from a year ago, we're in a much better position from a rate perspective. I think a year from now, we'll be in a much better rate perspective than we are today. So I do think it's going to get better, and I think buyer sentiment is going to improve. And it's funny, when the rates went down in September, it's not like they went down a percentage point, right? I'm telling you, that first week, we were inundated with applications just because of that sentiment that the market's improving. So I think there's some good stuff on the horizon from a rate perspective.
So do you think it's a good time to buy? I asked that at the risk of being very cliche, but
100%.
What is that? Sorry.
It's one of those Segway hoverboards with a little seat on it.
Yeah,
So
there's no handle? That looks insanely dangerous.
Yeah.
Well, you ride a one wheel, Nate.
Not anymore. Not since the accident. Not since the accident.
Hey, next podcast we get on that.
Okay. Yeah. We'll get 3 of those. You first.
Scooter gang.
Scooter gang. There you go.
So
we had a scooter gang going in Austin, Texas. We were out meeting with some potential business partners, and we had maybe 2 hours to kill, and Jonathan and I found scooters, and we rode around Austin, downtown area, for hours.
Nice.
Ahead of our dinner. And then the next day we went out and had a great dinner. Late night, really fun time with these guys. And we had to fly out the next morning, so we went to Terry Black's barbecue.
Oh, wow.
And we're sitting there, and he's like, all right, I'll get us an Uber to the airport. It was like 18 miles.
Yeah.
And I see 2 of the Bird scooters sitting out front. I'm like, you want to try to scooter there?
Did you?
I only had a backpack. He had a suitcase, but we got on him and made it within a block of the entrance to the airport, where it was no scooter zone or whatever you call it. Then we had to Uber from a gas station in, but we did a solid 17 miles through some areas in commercial districts and across some highways and freeways that we should not have been on those scooters. Jonathan with a suitcase between his legs the whole time, but we did it. It was awesome.
You probably regretted it at the moment, but now it's a funny story.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was a great experience.
It was so fun. So we would, as we were riding around, like, scooter gang.
Ring the little old bicycle bells.
Yeah, that guy on the hoverboard had nothing on us.
No, I doubt it.
Would have pushed him right over.
So, good time to buy, bad time to buy, sit and wait, or what's that cliche saying? Don't wait to buy real estate and wait. What is what's your perception?
Exactly there. There's a cost to waiting. So, the truth is, especially here in South Florida, I think the consensus is it's going to appreciate. Maybe not as rapidly as some may think. Am I going here?
No.
But there is a cost to waiting, and you can, it's just simple math, right? So if I take your interest rate at 6.5 today on a property that's $400,000, versus a 5.5 a year from now at a property that's worth $450 or whatever, $100,000 more, it's going to cost you more, right? You're going to be leveraging more financing. You need more financing, even at a lower rate. You're better off getting the property now while you can, while there's not a frenzy in the market, while people aren't, fighting to get into a home and there's 10 offers on a contract. You're better off getting in now and then refinancing that rate down the road. You can always renegotiate the rate. You can't, go back a year from now and renegotiate the price.
Right. I agree with you. I mean, the only place where I see an exception, and I've always believed in buy real estate and wait. But, if you're moving somewhere and you think you're going to be there for 2 or 3 years, I can make an argument that you should go rent right now, given some potential in the market. But even then, my primary argument is buy it, and then if you end up moving, then rent it out. I can't tell you how many people, when COVID hit, were like, I'm going to wait and see how this thing shakes out.
Yep.
And I have a really close friend that called me up. He's like, hey, Nate, you just moved. Do you think I should buy? We want to move. We need to, grow into a bigger house, me and my family. And this is literally during the shutdown. And I said, you may have 3 weeks before we go into a frenzy. And I'm not trying to claim I had a crystal ball. I got lucky with that prediction. I said, they are going to pump so much money into this economy And this may be your only opportunity while you have all this fear in the marketplace to go in and capitalize on it. And he did, and he got lucky. We both did. But I think about the people who didn't and sat there and waited, and you can't time the market. But if you just look at any real estate trend, it's always going up.
Yeah. I think it's, from our perspective too, we don't want to be transactional. And I think you mentioned this before, is the relationship you have with your broker, and putting a game plan together, not just for this house, but asking those questions. How long do you plan on being in this property? What's your overall goal? Where do you want to ultimately end up? I think that plays a huge role in how these people move forward with you in the future, right? So, like, you gave your buddy some advice, whether he took it or not, it was good advice, right?
Right.
And I think some of these consumers, they gotta listen to the expert. I think too often what we fight is, I speak with a consumer, and their mother's cousin's neighbor just got a mortgage at 2.5, 4 years ago, and that's what they expect, right? So it's really kind of setting the expectation and the roadmap above, or moving forward, I should say. So, like you said, buying a property now, and eventually knowing that it's not my forever home. I want to eventually rent this thing out and start building some really generational wealth. Really, I got investment properties, cash flowing. I mean, that's the whole goal.
Absolutely.
So I always feel like you can get an indication on where the market's going based on how appraisals come in.
Mm-hmm.
They give you kind of an insight on, are they overappraising, underappraising, or coming out right at value, as an early indicator on what is trending in certain directions. Are you noticing any trends right now that our listeners should be paying attention to?
I mean, I can say I rarely ever hear from one of my loan officers that something was undervalued. I think from what I see, it's coming in at value or maybe slightly higher. I think it really comes down to the agent and how they're pricing these homes, obviously. But I would say for the most part, appraisers have been pretty decent recently. Obviously there's good and bad appraisers, and from a compliance perspective, you can't just call who you want to get. That was something in the past. Definitely not something now.
You have to go through the AMCs now.
You have to go through the AMCs now. True third party, no bias, and that's really what a consumer wants, right? They don't want anything to be manipulated. I've been seeing them pretty fair. Do some come in short at times? I think so, but I think the numbers never lie. So we get an appraisal, we really break it down. We don't just rely on underwriting. Do we have sufficient comps? Is there something else that they should be using, or something that they made an adjustment on and they shouldn't? We really try to break it down, and I can tell you most times, we're not appraisers, but we look at enough to have a good idea. I'd say most times they do a pretty spot on job. They're coming in really at value.
So their technology is an ever-turning wheel. It's constantly evolving and growing, and new things hit the market. Where do you think artificial intelligence or AI is having an impact on the function or service for you guys as a mortgage partner?
It's a huge topic of discussion. In fact, we just adopted, maybe about 6 months ago, AI product that we have on an equity line side, which is pretty neat. It was really the first time that we were able to offer a program that has very little to no human interaction, and it's looking just at data points, only for equity lines. But I think that stuff's going to become a little bit more prevalent. Obviously, some of the tools, you could throw anything into ChatGPT, it's going to tell you what to do, contracts, all this stuff. So I think those really will impact, and it's, you either got to get on the train or you're going to get left behind. So, either from a real estate perspective, from a mortgage perspective, from any industry, if you're not embracing AI, you're going to be left behind, no doubt. But this program that we have on the AI side it's super slick. I mean, borrower, I should say, is literally dealing with the AI. It's running a soft credit, it runs an AVM up front, gives you options. It's really interactive.
So it's going to streamline the process for you guys,
Absolutely.
for the clients, for everyone.
Absolutely.
Is there an application? So the way I've attributed AI is it's efficiency, right? It takes something slow, makes it fast, takes something stupid, makes it smart, takes something expensive, makes it inexpensive. And when it comes to the mortgage process, much like I'm thinking on the title side, is reducing that time impact it takes from deciding you want to buy a property to being able to close and move in.
Right.
Which you saw a lot of discussion about that when blockchain was a hot topic. On the title side, how quickly can they get through those delays by putting all of the records in blockchain? Is there anything that you think a problem could be solved in the mortgage process by leveraging something like that?
I think leveraging technology to improve the process is absolutely huge. We think about it literally in a more simple format is clicks, right? And how if I can improve the process for my LO, that's going to improve the experience for the consumer and for the agent, because that's technically our client as well, right? So, whether it's AI or just improving your CRM or investing in technology, if you're not doing those things, then you're going to be way left behind. And you look at the business even 5 years ago, our average clear to close from start to finish is about 12 days. We were probably about 20, 25 about 5 years ago, and we thought that was stellar. We've literally cut it down, a significant amount by leveraging the technology aspect of it. So I think the consensus of the past of, hey, a mortgage is difficult, it's a brutal process, that's gone. I mean, we try to touch the consumer and the agent as little as possible. And if I can tell you, as the agent in 10, 12 days that, this loan's cleared to close, you're getting paid, buyers get into the house, I mean, it's a special moment. So, and that too reciprocates more business as well. If the experience was good, that's what they're going to remember.
For sure.
All right, so we're getting up on our time here. I don't want to keep laboring and having you drive us around in this sweet ride here.
I don't mind. Let's keep going. I heard this thing is fast. I just haven't felt it yet.
Yeah, I'm a chauffeur today. It's all good.
So I'm really excited to see what happens in the mortgage industry.
We should have picked up some lunch, ran some errands. We could have taken advantage of this.
Can you pull through Chick-fil-A drive-thru right now? So I'm excited to see how the market changes, and anytime there's a change, it creates opportunity. So to see how you guys on the mortgage side and our team here at Location can leverage the opportunities that are in front of us now and coming at the beginning of 2025. I'm excited to see what continues to happen for everybody involved.
Yeah, agreed. I think 2025 is going to be the start of a really good market on the real estate and mortgage end. I mean, we took a beating the last few years, there's no doubt. But like I mentioned before, I think those who survived, improved efficiencies, 2025 is going to be a killer year.
Cool. You talked a lot about UWM and their technology. To those listening to us right now, Manny was kind enough to give us an invite up to their headquarters in Detroit. So we're going to try to take them up on there in the next couple of weeks and go check it out. There's some amazing technology, amazing staff meetings, and just overall real fun time. So I'm going to try to document a little bit of that so we can share it with you guys at a later time.
There's exciting times coming. Technology is making everything more efficient, easier, and a more pleasurable experience going through buying a home. And that's no bull. I appreciate you driving us around, Manny.
Yeah, thank you guys.
This thing is sweet. Congratulations.
Yeah, appreciate it.